Okay friends, so today we are looking at a DCS range, which is a cooktop with an oven below it, and the customer's complaint is that the oven is not functioning. We have verified that we are getting voltage coming from the oven control, which is right here. The oven control, that will send current down to our oven igniter, which is located down here, down below at the bottom of the oven. I'll pan back a little bit so that you can get an idea of where that oven is located, just below the oven cavity. And when I started up the oven, I started to notice that there was current flowing. This is my amp meter. I clamp it onto one of the leads going to the igniter, and if there's current flowing, this needle will start to deflect and come up. Anyway, the needle started to come up, and about 10 seconds into it, the needle just suddenly dropped back down to 0. So I take out my handy dandy voltmeter, and I take the meter and touch it to one of the leads of the igniter lead. Nothing's there, but we are getting something here. So what that means is that the igniter is getting voltage, and the igniter has probably just completely internally failed. So it looks as though what he needs to have is a new igniter replaced to get him back up and running. So we have got access down to the igniter. This is the item that we are probably going to be changing out today. I haven't removed it yet, but I'm going to disconnect it momentarily. We're going to ohm it out, and I'm expecting to find that it's probably got infinite resistance. It's probably burned open on the inside. So we'll take a look at that next. Okay, so we're measuring the resistance on this igniter right now. I've got my leads on this. We're touching them to the two leads and looking at my ohm meter. My ohm meter is telling me that the resistance going through this is about 750,000 ohms. The typical resistance on this should be about 40 to 60 ohms. So at 750,000 ohms, it's essentially an open circuit. At least for all practical concern, it's basically burned open. So this is the igniter, the one that we're going to be replacing. Looking at it, just a visual inspection, I don't see any evidence of any burn marks or any crack marks on the actual igniter surface. Incidentally, you should never touch that with your fingers. The oil from your fingers can create hot spots and premature failure. So anyway, there's no evidence of a burn mark that's inside the igniter, so the failure has occurred somewhere inside this ceramic block, and that's where it's gone bad. Okay, so before we install the new igniter, it's always a good idea to take it out of the truck and test it to make sure that it hasn't been damaged from shipment or it got bumped, or last thing you want to do is take the trouble to put in an igniter only to find out it doesn't work, have to go to the van and get another one. But anyway, we've got it working and we're getting proper resistance here, so this igniter is going to work just fine. Okay, the new igniter is in place, and if you take a look here, you'll see that the igniter is starting to glow. And looking at the current draw, the current right now is drawing somewhere like around 2.85 amperes. That's exactly in the ballpark. That's what we want it. The safety valve in this is designed to open somewhere between about 2.8 amps to 3.2 amperes. And the safety valve does have a viscous damper. It takes about 30 or 40 seconds for this damper to fully open. It opens slowly so that there's no sudden explosion of flame, but the flame just kind of comes on gradually. So like I said, it takes about 30 to 50 seconds to get it to come on, and there you have a nice beautiful flame. Everything's working just fine. Let's close it back up. Okay, we're in the process of putting it all back together again. I thought I'd point out something that might be of interest to you folks is the oven interior lights. Each one of these, I know you can't see it very well because they're probably blasting the the aperture on this camera right now, but these lights, I don't know if you can see that any better or not, but there's a glass lens that's put over the 40-watt light bulb, and sometimes that lens is particularly hard to get off. It's just because the baking oils, greases, and everything else cakes around it and basically makes it difficult to get loose. So the easiest way to do that is to, of course, wait until the bulb is cool and take a rubber hammer, and with a rubber hammer just lightly wrap all the way around this bulb while applying a twisting force. And after about a minute or so, it'll finally give and come loose for you. Okay, and so our customer's DCS high quality range is back up and running again. The oven is working properly. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the flame is definitely going and it is in the process of warming up. So all that was really wrong with this was it just had a burned on igniter, which is actually a pretty common occurrence on many gas ovens.